Welcome back yet again to the Nordic Championship, coming to you live from Monster Energy DreamHack Studio. We're in Game 3 right now with the final tribe versus NYYRIKKI White, and it has been an absolute madhouse so far.
Yeah, this is madness. This is Sparta. I don't even know what to say. This is the Nordic Championship.
This is the Nordic Championship. This is what happens when you play in the Nordic Championship. You just donate barons and elder dragons left to right, and then somehow everything just goes crazy. Or I don't know how to sum up that game too, but we're in for a treat. We're coming into game 3 now, and these players, like, I was wondering what goes through their minds right now.
Yeah, I think after what happened last time around, I'd be surprised if both teams are not a bit affected by what's been going
Yeah,
on. Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, you really want to reset your mental to be look at this as if this is game number one, but it's got to be hard after so many Baron and Dragon steals, so many really weird objective setups, and just for if you missed the final parts of game two, the whole thing ended when Waysource Kled used ultimate to run into the enemy base to kill an open inhibitor while his team took the Elder Dragon. Then Wazer went down in a 1 versus 2 situation, and both of the members who took him down had TP, so they teleported down to the Elder Dragon, won that fight, and won the game. Absolute madness.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, these are things that very rarely happen, but when they happen, everything happens at the same time. Now, like you said, the players need to kind of reset their mentality, come back from level 1 into this game 3. Both have 1 win each, so whichever team wins this are going to just jump a slight bit ahead also for the other away from the others in the standings. So now NYYRIKKI White not going to go with the Lissandra this time around. She has been banned, and something we've seen a lot in this tournament is the Iron ban versus Kenapil.
One adaptation that I'm very interested in is if NYRIKKI are going to be putting some attention towards the Cillian here in the first round of bans. When you do have the first pick, you don't have to focus on the OPs as much. You don't necessarily have to ban like the Lucian and the Urgot because you can first pick them. So you might be able to afford spending another ban targeting it towards the enemy team, and if you want to do that, I don't think Cillian would be a bad choice, as it's been the go-to pick for Denzel 3 out of 4 games so far that we've been seeing him.
Absolutely. And Dinsel on his earlier games have definitely been showing up on the Cillian. But for this game, I kind of felt that NYRIKKI White knew how to handle it. They knew how to play around it. They knew that just forcing fights, just going in on the main objective, getting Kantos, and then Dinsel couldn't really do anything because either he needs to use ultimate on himself or he needs to run away into a position where he can't no longer resurrect Kantos. So, like, a lot of different things, a lot of adaptations coming out of these two teams. Now with the final bans being Urgot and Kartus, it's this time maybe Kenapil going to steal away the Sejuani from Raxi.
I was going to say that Thresh is the big standout pick here, but prioritizing the Sejuani I think is a better choice because you know that the TFT are going to be trying to pick away the Sejuani if you don't go for it. So the Thresh, not so sure if that's what Nightmare is going to be taking. He's been playing more of the defensive style so far rather than the engaging and trying to find the picks, but you gotta give Thresh so much respect for how strong he is early on in the laning phase.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, like, you kind of need to take Thresh away because you know that Tiara also likes to have that champion also together with the Sejuani have a lot of potential with that combination. So they're going to go with the Thresh pick and the Kha'Zix into the Sejuani.
So this is a very big switch around for TFT so far. Every game we've been seeing them on, they have pretty much the same play style. Get a defensive jungler that can gank, get defensive mid and bottom lanes that can just stay safe and wave clear, and then get Weizou into a good matchup and get him ahead. Put your attention towards the top side. And now they're doing something completely different, and NYRIKKI are actually picking away the champions that TFT have been playing with.
I'm feeling like, are we sure that these names are correct? Are we sure that this is actually NYRIKKI White playing? Because they are right now mimicking the same kind of composition that the final tribe has been going for with the Sivir bot lane and with the Sejuani for the jungle. So this is very interesting actually to see them kind of copy paste, feeling like, hey, you know what, guys, this worked out for you, so now we're going to show you how it's done coming into game 3. We're not going to let you go with the same kind of comfortable picks that you have been going for so far this tournament.
I think it makes quite a bit of sense for what we've been seeing from NYRIKKI. They haven't really been able to put on too much pressure in the early mid game when they've had like, these sort of engaged comps that doesn't scale as well. So going for more of the late game stuff, I think makes a lot of sense. Also getting Kenapil on Sejuani just seems good to me. He's not been impressing me on the Lee Sin. He's not been impressing me on the Jarvan. Even though he got a few steals, he also missed a few times on those objectives and wasn't able to put on too much. So just having a defensive farming jungle that can put on some pressure, I think this is a good choice, and that Sejuani Braum combination is so strong.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have that going for them. On the other hand, we have now Cantus on the Kai'Sa, a champion that Azitor was previously playing.
Yeah, so swapping around the AD carry matchup, this is really swapping around what they want to do as well. So a lane that can really try to fight and find engages here for TFT, while NYRIKKI does have the more scaling and safety there. And there is the Cillian ban that I was talking about that I wanted to see on towards Denzel. Maybe targeting the Malzahar as well, and the next round of bans to really force Denzel onto a new pick. He was joking about that he was going to play the Lulu earlier on when they
Yeah,
talked about it
exactly.
in the lobby, but not even sure if he's joking at this point.
No,
Could he even
exactly.
go
Like,
for the
what,
Lulu?
what will he go for at this point if the Malzahar is also banned? We don't know. There comes the SWE ban as well. It would be funny to see the Malzahar ban here, because that would actually be something I was joking about earlier. Like, okay, are they going to go with triple ban on the mid lane?
There
And
it is.
actually, yeah, they are. They are going for it, because Dincel has only been playing the Malzahar and the Cillian, and he's been good at those. So Lissandra is kind of a similar champion in the way that you are very powerful, just hanging around with the R ready to press that one. And now I'm wondering, what is Denzel going to play? And this is a completely different champion going for the LeBlanc right now.
Yeah, this is a totally different composition. Earlier, they've been playing the sort of poke, and not really poke, but just trying to stay safe, disengage, peel back, and now they've got engaged. They've got an extremely strong 2 versus 2 mid jungle duo, and the Kha'Zix LeBlanc, they can pretty much fight anyone, and I'm interested to see what Yamaru is going to go for here. He can even try to counterpick with something like a Kassadin if he wants to go in that direction, but it's going to be the Syndra instead. Also can have a good matchup into the LeBlanc, as you can interrupt the dashes with your stun.
Absolutely. And the Syndra in the hands of Jamaru, so much kill pressure, so much potential for the 1 versus 1 with the LeBlanc right now. And Stenbo said his final pick, is he going to go for this Poppy? And then saying, Vaser, I know Kled is up. If you go for this, I'm just going to handle you yet again the same way I did in game 1.
Wondering if Wazer would look to a ranged top lane here to try to punish this Poppy. The likes of, say, Kennen, Victor, even the Vladimir is still open. If that's something that you want to go for just to get a strong 1 versus 1 matchup, would not be the strongest choice to round out the team, since you don't really have a front line so far. But I think at this point you really need to pick strong lanes, and that is a lane, Sang.
That is definitely a lane we're going to have to look at a lot. And for the top lane, it's the Poppy into the Illaoi now for Vaser. So this time, no Kled. Instead, going with the Illaoi. She's slightly less mobile than the Kled, but still kind of a scary lane opponent with all of that AoE damage and so much potential for a dueling.
Yeah, pretty much the first thing that popped to mind when I was talking about the Kled being sort of a jack of all trades, not as strong of a split pusher 1-1 duelist as the Illaoi is, and the Waser's really going in that direction. So this is a clear split pushing comp for the final tribe. They do have Illaoi able to 1v1 anyone really easily. Also can throw the Blanc into a side lane with all of that mobility. She's going to stay really safe, and in a long lane can try to punish the Syndra if that's the one we want, and then maybe even a mobility boots Kha'Zix with the ultimate evolve could be the choice for Axie, being so fast to just run in between the lanes, always keep the side lane safe. Really looking forward to this game, because they're throwing something completely different at us.
Absolutely. So yesterday, we saw Raxi play the Sejuani versus a LeBlanc, and playing around the LeBlanc in the way that he's waiting for it, using his CC to just block her combo and save his backline, and that turned the game around for them yesterday. Today, it's up to Kenapil to show that he is on the same level or even stronger on this Sejuani that he has now denied Kenapil. And Kenapil has answered like going completely different with the Kha'Zix instead. And this is something like We have not seen this at all from either of these teams so far. Right now, like this is watching two completely new teams. I do not know what to expect at all.
Yeah, they are really throwing a curveball here, especially the Ilawi. This is a pick that we're going to be looking for so much because we know that it can be very strong in the 1 versus 1s and even in the 1 versus 2s. It's going to be running the Kleptomancy as well, which is a very strong runes into these tank matchups, into the Poppy. So I do think Stenboss is going to be able to go toe-to-toe early on, like up to one item, up to like level 10, 11. Definitely think that he is going to be keeping up, just clearing the waves, but after that, Wazer's going to be taking over and be so extremely oppressive in the 1 versus 1s. But that's really where he's going to be strong in the 1v1s. Ilawi really not a strong champion when it comes to the team fights, especially when there's so much disengage and peeling in the Sejuani, in the Braum, and even the Scattered the Weak from the Syndra. They're going to be able to keep Waster away, so this is a pure split pushing pick for TFT.
Yeah, absolutely. Like with an Ilawi, you want to have your tentacles ready. You want to be able to decide where you want to fight. You can set that up. If you don't have those ready and available, you're not going to have as much damage potential. But here we are yet again on Summoner's Rift for Game 3, the final game for today between NYYRIKKI, White, and the final tribe.
And one of the very volatile matchups that we're looking for is, of course, in the mid lane, where we've got Yamaru, who did look stronger than Denzel so far in the series on the Syndra into the LeBlanc. And this is like almost the definition of a skill matchup. So many ways for both of these champions to outplay the other. And if I just look at that 1 versus 1, I'm going to say that Yamaru probably has an advantage into Denzel. So he's going to have to step up here and he's going to have to impress if he's going to outplay this Syndra and really take home the game on this LeBlanc.
Absolutely. Also, Acer did definitely grow in my eyes for the last part of Game 2, where he really stepped up on the Kai'Sa. This time around, he is on Sivir, and we talked so much about the difference between Sivir and the Kai'Sa in the way that they scaled towards the late game. And still, Kantos, it felt like he was kind of faltering at the late game point of Game 2. He sort of couldn't really keep up. And this time, he is on the Kai'Sa instead, so maybe we'll find out something about this player.
Yeah, the big thing that you've got there from the Sivir is the range, both with the Q and the rapid fire cannon that you're going to be itemizing. Gives you so much ability to hit the enemies from far away, which Kai'Sa does not have. She's a short-ranged AD carry, but if you're able to get into the back line with that killer instinct and then have the invisibility from the supercharge keeping you safe, that's something that we did see Acitor do last game around.
Oh, look at this. Tiara, he forgot to buy items.
Oh,
that
no.
Is a huge problem for them, right? You can see he's walking up, he auto-attacks the minion, and then he realizes, I do not have the Relic Shield right now. So Constellation is going to go for the refillable potion instead, but Acitor is not able to last hit at all. He's going to fall behind in level, he's going to fall behind in CS, and this is actually a terrible position to be in. This is the nerves, yet again from Game 2, not having enough time to calm yourself between these games and best of 3.
This is both the nerves and the mental fatigue. Last game around, they have to make so many crucial decisions when it comes to these objectives, where one simple misstep can just lose you the game immediately. So doing that for 50 minutes, together with a pause that lasted for like 10 or 15 minutes as well, where you just had to sit and wait and think about the game. These players gotta be really tired at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a lot of fatigue going on. Up in the top lane, Stenbosse versus this Ilawi for this time around. Stenbosse has been impressing with his Poppy. Still was good in the early stages of last game into the Kled. This time versus the Ilawi, you can tell that it's a completely different matchup. Vaser is harassing quite a bit up top lane. Down in the bottom lane, this is so interesting because it's such a huge EXP difference right now for Tiara, who was not there for the first 1 minute and 10 seconds, something of the game.
Mid lane pressure might be coming in. I think this is a good choice for Raxon. You want to snowball Denzel to allow him to make things happen, but Yamiru is playing quite safe here.
Yeah, Yamiru knows that something could be happening here. He has been pushing. Here comes the recall instead. Raxi is down bot lane. Yamiru in the mid lane tries to get a little bit of harass off as Kenapil arrives. Kenapil is going to stick around and make sure to help him just a little bit, that Denzel can't harass him too much right now. Stenbo's up top lane, just trying his best to handle all of these tentacles. Going to avoid most of this harassing. You can tell with the Kleptomancy that this Illaoi is going to get a lot of gold in this matchup.
Yeah, she has been able to proc that quite a bit. Is pushing out pretty much permanently here. So Stimbus is farming under his own tower, which means that you're gonna be able to go for the ganks on towards Waysor. If he keeps pushing up like this and Raxi is not there to help him out with the vision and the control on the top side of the map, when Kenapil hits that level 6, he's going to be able to go for that play onto Waster. And you might ask yourself, well, I've seen Illaoi 1v2 so many times with that ultimate, and to that I'm going to say, yes, later on she's definitely able to do so, but this early on in the game, she's going to be squishy enough that she can get bursted down by a Sejuani Poppy duo.
Absolutely, and Kenapil on this Sejuani is playing quite differently from what we have seen him on so far. Going with the Lee Sin, going with the Jarvan. And the only similar champion that he is playing, it's not even similar actually, but like it's Ivern who wants to farm early. Otherwise, he's just been going for these early game aggressive junglers trying to burn flashes all over the map. And this time around, he's just happy farming it up, and Raxi is the one instead who will be the one that needs to make something happen.
Yeah, he's gonna perhaps be looking for the 1 versus 1 here on towards Kenapil, since they know that Yamura has already recalled, so mid lane priority is gonna be here for Denzel, and this is definitely a winning 2 versus 2 with Kha'Zix LeBlanc versus Sejuani Syndra.
Raxi taking a little bit of harass there as he jumped in, wanted to make sure to deny that scrying plant. Up top lane, Stenbos is still taking a lot of harassment here from Waysor. Waysor is stacking up the gold right now, denying a lot of lost hits as well. He's up 7 CS, 6 minutes into the game.
Not sure if Kenapil is just going to be conceding this top lane for his team. I think you either have to say that, okay, as soon as I hit level 6, I'm going to go up and try to punish Waysor because he's pushing up so far. You either have to choose that, or you have to choose that, okay, Stimbosa, I'm just going to be leaving you. You're going to be contributing a lot to the team fights anyway in terms of utility since you are playing the Poppy, but I'm just going to let you take this punishment in the 1 versus 1 and fall far behind Waysor. And right now it looks like Kenapil is making the latter choice, just leaving Stimbosa up there to lose that 1v1, to fall behind on tower plates, on gold, on CS, and the Kleptomancy as well.
Absolutely, and Aetitor down bot lane with the teleport advantage. Got some time to regain some of the EXP and the CS he lost earlier still. He's down 10 CS versus Kantos. And Kantos, without the teleport, of course, had to run back to the lane. Both have the BF sword right now. And here comes Nightmare in mid lane. He's not going to be able to do anything versus Jameru. Nightmare has gone for the mobility boot, so he's going to be trying to rotate a lot, especially since Jameru is the one pushing the mid lane.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting to see the BF Sword build for Kantos here. Asitar has been going for the Blade of the Rune King build instead, which gives you the faster power spike. If you go BF Sword into double pickaxe, though, you do get that Q evolved quite early, which gives you a lot of burst damage and wave control, since that is pretty strong at pushing the waves.
So the bot lane now, it's a level 6 Kantos and a level 6 Asitor. In the mid lane, Denzel is hiding around in the bush. Is going to be pinging a little bit. The first dragon is the Ocean Dragon. We'll see if any of the teams decides to go for that early on.
Yeah, and speaking a bit more about the item builds, I'm so curious what Waster's going to be going for, because looking at what some other players in the highest brackets of play have been going for on the Illaoi, some of them have been electing to rush for this new item called the Spear of Shojin, which gives you so much cooldown reduction and attack speed, and Illaoi is so reliant on his basic abilities. So I'm very interested to see whether this Kindle Gem is going to go to the Black Cleaver, which I think is probably going to be the standard choice, or if it's going to be that very interesting offensive build, the Spear of Shojin.
Yeah, absolutely. Stenbosa, though, is rushing, of course, the Sunfire Cape. The Ocean Dragon has been started from the blue side, and this time around, no cheeky steal is going to happen. Instead, though, forcing a couple of summoner spells. A good block there by Tiara is going to make sure that Kenapil gets away with that Dragon's NYYRIKKI, managing to pick up a very important objective, as Kenapil has been, between these two junglers, I think slightly better with the smite timing.
Yeah,
But
there's
like it's difficult to say with all of the steals been gone up. But I would say that he is slightly better at this point.
maybe just slightly ahead when it comes to those objectives, but both of them have been messing up from time to time. Also pretty interesting there that Raxon did choose to go for the R evolve, I should say, but here we go with the top lane
Yeah,
gang.
here comes the gank you talked about earlier, and even though there's an attempt to flash, there's so much CC, there's not much that Wazer can do 1 versus 4 in this early stage of the game. Unbreakable is not available anymore, was already used, and Tiara in a heap of trouble now, already used a flash earlier. That is the kill, and a quick pickup in gold for Kantos.
Yeah, talked about the ability for Poppy and Sejuani to lock down Waysor's Ilaoi and be able to burst him down. Leap of Faith was not available though. I think if that would have been off cooldown, he could have tried to sustain that for a bit longer. Not sure when he actually used that ability, but getting forced to flash this early, not the optimal situation for Waysor.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure that Wazer even should have tried to outplay in that situation, as he didn't have anything off cooldown, but again, like, he really wants to prove himself on this Ilaoi. He is ahead by quite a lot, and in that situation, I think he absolutely might have been able to get away in a 1 versus 2, but he had lost so much HP before that gank even arrived.
Yeah, still not even going for Boots 1 here at this point, or the Mercury Threads, which I'm pretty sure is going to be the boot of choice here because there is so much CC on the enemy team. You have Sejuani, Poppy, Braum, Syndra, like there's pretty much hard CC on everyone, so he needs that tenacity to be able to keep the auto attacks and the spells up, because that's what's going to sustain you and give you so much HP back on this Ilaoi. But you can see on the minimap he's right back to pushing the way very hard into the enemy tower, but Canapil is on the right side of the map with the Glacial Prison. Full HP Ilaoi with Leap of Faith available though, that would be a scary gank.
Yeah, absolutely. So Wazer is not scared at all. Still going to stick around with this playstyle, and Canapil Recall is now moving towards the bot lane of the map instead. Raxi has been doing the best job that he can, is focusing on the bot side of the map for now. Going with the invade, have not been spotted on a ward so far, but I think Acidor can smell that something is up still with these wards being cleared. He's playing very safely, close to his turret. Now moving up just a little bit, might be trying to bait something here as he knows the Canapil is close. Same goes for Tiara. Lantern is going to be used to save Kantos in that situation. And yeah, Canapil is just going to make sure that there are none of his camps being stolen here.
So if we disregard the top lane, which Wazer is obviously having the pressure in, not too many things has happened. There's a slight bottom lane lead for TFT, but there is also the Ocean Dragon for NYYRIKKI, and they're going to be looking for the engager. Wow, that's the CC chain!
Yeah, absolutely. Huge CC chain. Raxi not respecting the vision control there. Tries to go for some kind of red buff steal, and yeah, well, we saw what happened there. Not the best thing to do when you're playing versus that much CC and you do not have the vision of the enemy team.
Yeah, far from optimal right there, and Acitor also goes down, so some action on the bottom side of the map. Game still though neck and neck, and I think this is interesting to look at because to me it's not obvious which team is going to be happier going into the later stages. I would still say that the Final Tribe has the stronger team come should this game go late, simply because they've got the Ilaoi and there's no way for NYYRIKKI to respond in the side lane. However, playing that sort of 1-3-1 in the later stages with LeBlanc and Ilaoi off in the side lanes is going to be very risky up against a Sejuani and Sivir comp, because that comp can engage on you from so far away, so you have to be really careful. And honestly, from what we saw in last game, the Final Tribe, I don't really trust them when it comes to making these sort of split pushing decisions that can decide the game.
No, absolutely. The Final Tribe have been having some issues with these split pushing strategies, so I agree with you, that would be dangerous. There's another objective being focused by the Final Tribe this time around. Raxi picking that one up. Although the reset, oh no, that is very annoying. The reset almost back to full HP, and the spell shield is not going to be enough for Acitor as he goes down yet again. Teleport comes. He has arrived. Sustain booster is here. One turret shot is going to land on Kantos, but the death sentence will make sure Kantos gets out alive. Jameru chasing down Denzel. Has been forced out of the lane. We did not see it, but I am suspecting an ultimate might have been involved. They're getting Denzel down to that low HP. Finally, the Rift Herald has gone down, so TFT still Very equal. Gotten a little bit ahead, about 1k gold. They got a lot of turret plating down on that bot lane turret as Acitor was caught twice in a row. So he is falling behind quite a bit right now. Level 8 versus Kantos level 9. Up top lane, Vaser is focusing this turret. Turret has gone down and Stenbosa has to run away from this. Using his teleport down, bot lane sacrificing the top turret. And now the dragon was taken as well. So Kenapil was the one to pick that one up, getting the double Ocean Dragon. The game has been paused yet again. This time it is Vasor who has paused the game, so not sure who has problems this time around, but there have been a lot of connectivity issues.
Yeah, of course, the players are playing from home. There can be internet issues. There can be issues with the power outages. I think
Yeah,
we
I think
decided that was the...
Kantos had a power outage earlier, so it might be the same issue. I don't know.
Could definitely be so. Still looking at this point in the game, I think Rift Herald going over to TFT is an opportunity for them to propel this gold lead even further. So right now they're 2.2k gold ahead at 15 minutes, which is pretty good, mostly from tower platings and the Kleptomancy on Ilaoi. But using
Yeah,
that...
absolutely. I think Kantos is one of the players with a lot of gold in the back. He has he has 5.7k gold right now. He's about 1.3k gold up ahead of Acitor. Also, another thing that Acitor is falling behind in EXP. His turret is about to go down. I have a feeling, just looking at Acitor the way he has been playing right now, that the fatigue is starting to take its toll right now. It's been a long gaming day for them. The game 1 and 2, especially game 2, were absolutely crazy. There was a lot of mental fatigue going on there on both sides, and I am starting to become a little bit worried about Acitor right now.
Yeah, and the crazy thing to me is that after this game, they're going to be playing another best of 3. So
yeah.
This is going to be a long day for them, but this is something that you also have to practice. I know a lot of these players are looking at the Nordic Championship as a window to become scouted by a great team, perhaps going into a stronger national league.
Absolutely.
Or
something
even
that has happened.
Exactly. We have several players from the Nordic League going to the likes of the Spanish or the French League, or even into the LEC with Blomsterfin at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, this is a huge opportunity, right? And then that means that you need to show that you can handle all of this pressure. But still, even that said, it is definitely difficult. The game has been on pause. We're back again. And it was indeed Kantos that DC'd. He is back on track. And Kantos, I want to say, like, I want to give that little credit to Kantos for having the nerves of steel, handling also these problems that he's been having with his connection, and still playing at the level that he has been playing. So he needs to get a little bit of kudos for that. But now in this game, looking at the item build, it's the double pickaxe into the early Infinity Edge build for him on this Kai'Sa, so he has the evolved Q right now.
Exactly. If you're looking at this build and going, well, you don't need 2 pickaxes to build towards the Infinity Edge, right? No, you don't, but you need it to evolve the Q, and then it builds in towards the Ginsu's Rage Blade, which is going to be the next build item after this to double proc your passive. And Denzel forced to flash in the mid lane. This is the explosive, volatile skill matchup, and he's having a rough time.
Absolutely. Good flash down the bot lane by Nightmares. Is going to avoid getting caught in that situation, as Kenapil has been doing good jobs on this Sejuani, and Raxi's been playing catch-up. He managed to secure the Rift Herald, though.
Yeah, but looking at this top lane matchup, which the Observer is pointing out right now, this is really where TFT are going to be getting their big advantage. Wazer is having a good time right now, and as soon as Kenapil showed himself on towards the bottom side, which he's doing once more, this is just Wazer saying, okay, I'm going to be abusing Stenbosa even more, I'm going to be pushing up even further, because I know where every player on the enemy team is. Total control on the top side right now for TFT.
Vaser is up 30 CS at 16 minutes in, showing how you play this matchup. Ilaoi versus the Poppy. Here he comes with the ultimate as well. Keeper's Verdict is going to keep Stenbosa safe for now, but still taking some more damage from those tentacles, doing the job on their own, which means that Stenbosa actually has to back off even after that trade. He's in a little bit of trouble up here as Vaser is just pushing in. and about to get some damage on this turret as well.
Yeah, he doesn't even have good ward coverage on the top side of the map. There's pretty much no vision in the top side enemy jungle. He can only do this because they know exactly where the enemy team is. And Yamaru, what a play! Finish Faker!
Outplay! That is why they hype him so much. Juking back and forth, avoiding all that damage, holding on to the flash and the barrier, and making sure that he is the one that runs away with the kill. Turning his focus back on Raxi instead of Denzel. Managed for him to pick up that 1 versus 2 kill. Stenbosa up in the top lane, doing his best, trying to handle these
Canapil is coming in. There is no good vision here for Wazer.
Yeah, Canapil has finally arrived. Vaser doesn't have any mana, so after the longest time up here, finally he goes down. Canapil is going to sneak that kill into his own pocket, banking that goal, but Stenbosa should just be happy right now with having a short breather. 25 seconds before Vaser is back on the map again.
Yeah, and this is just questionable from TFT because, yes, as long as you know where Canapil is, you know it's on the bottom side of the map, then you can play that far up if you're Wazer. But at that point, he just had a ward really close to himself, so as soon as he saw Canapil on that ward, it was too late because he was pushed up really far, was low on HP, not able to do too much there. And speaking of not doing too much, there's one charge on the mid lane tower, but that's not gonna make anyone too happy.
Yeah, a little bit of a dent on the mid lane turret. I think the Rift Child was about to time out, so Raxi had to deploy it somewhere. In the mid lane though, Jamaru, look at how he plays this! That's absolutely crazy. I'm not sure if he can survive this, actually. Still though, holding on to most of his spells. He has the flash still,
Whoa!
and that's the double kill! 1 versus 2 over and over again. He got the 1 kill, now he got the 2, and his team is still pushing.
Wow, I think this is the Cillian and Malzahar bands really shining through, forcing Denzel to go up against Yamaru in a skill matchup in this 1 versus 1 LeBlanc versus Syndra. So much outplay potential, and you could clearly see who outplayed who right there, interrupting the distortion with the Scatter the Weak, and then a beautiful 1 versus 2 from Yamaru. 3-0. He is really the big carry for his team right now.
Absolutely, Jamaru now 3-0 so far. And Denzel, like you said, so many bans focused on Denzel. And then from that point forward, Jamaru has just been doing whatever he wants in this mid lane. Now the Cloud Dragon is up for grabs. Complete control here for NYYRIKKI White. Let's secure that objective. Next dragon will be the Infernal. And now the lane swap as well. Stenbosa is probably a little bit tired after playing versus Vaser up top lane for such a long time.
Yeah, I would be tired too, honestly. Can't have had too much of a fun time in that 1 versus 1 matchup. So Waisha's going to be pushing up this top wave, and now I'm not sure what he wants to do because the only objective that's up right now is the Baron, and not the greatest Baron killing team that they've got right now. So I think that Wazer, he needs to have a lane where he can farm safely somewhere, and it's going to eventually be that bottom lane, but he's quite a ways away. So Stenbosa getting some tower damage, he's pretty happy right here.
Absolutely. Now about 700 gold lead for Wazer, and about 1.3 still for Kantos in this matchup. But Azitor, he's still farming, he's still scaling quite a bit. We talked about this so much, I'm not going to mention that again. But Wazer on this Illaoi, you mentioned it earlier, like also Illaoi, one of those champions that becomes so strong, and he's been showing it many times over. A good flash here is going to avoid most of this damage. Death Sentence also is going to just add a little bit of harass on Canapil as Nightmares gets away. Canapil though happy just burning that summoner spell for nothing, holding on to his ultimate, still pushing up this top turret. It's about 1k gold lead now for the final tribe.
And I think the big change so far for NYYRIKKI, why they're looking so much stronger in this game, is pretty much the pick and ban. Earlier on, they were they didn't get a mid lane matchup that they want, they didn't get a jungle matchup that they want, but now you can see that picking away Sejuani has worked so well against Raxi. He's really struggling on this Kha'Zix, and also putting Denzel in the skill matchup that we talked about. I think this draft is just a lot better from NYYRIKKI than they've had earlier on in the series.
Absolutely, NYYRIKKI knows how to play this now, and also look at Raxi when he's not on the Sejuani, having some issues right now, has to run away. With the help of his team, he managed to get away from that situation. Also, Azitor is there to help with the finished Infinity Edge and Seal. He is starting to become a little bit scared with these crits that he deals so much damage with. Kantos on the other side with the finished Infinity Edge and Gwynsto's Rage Blade. Also not too shabby items, is going to keep this turret alive for now.
Yeah, good that you point out the Kai'Sa build here, because it is the different build from what we've been seeing in game 1 and 2, where it's been the Blade of the Ruin King build, which gives you an earlier power spike, but does not scale as well unless you're hitting a lot of tanks. You could even see Acitor last game around sold the Blade of the Ruin King towards the end there, because it's simply not that in the scale so well. You really want the crit instead, and the crit is just what Kantos is going for here. And with that double dagger purchase, that is the E, the supercharge, also getting the evolve right now. So he is pretty strong at this point, but will keep scaling. Still not as strong as Acitor because he simply has longer range on the Sivir. But Kai'Sa is going to be no slouch in the later game as well.
Absolutely, and also with those deadly instincts, going to be able to join fights in a way that Sivir cannot match if he finds a good position for it. Finally, top turret has fallen, which means the gold is now even. Still, a slight lead, 500 gold, 40 FT. But that is it. Though Wazer yet again has been over-pushing bot lane. No vision, knocked up in the air, but look at how much he heals still. 4 versus 1 is maybe too much to handle, although look at the Baron.
Look at the Baron, but also look at the minimap. Not a single ward on the bottom side of the map. Wazer, what are you doing? This might be the Baron, though.
Yeah, I mean, that might not really matter at all as the Baron goes down so quickly with the Kai'Sa, even with no Mountain Dragon. That is the Baron response with 4 people down bot lane. Wazer, although he didn't have any wards, didn't really care that much. He's just, okay, you come down here, you kill me, my team is gonna get Baron.
Yeah, I mean, going for Wazer was not a terrible choice. They're all speaking from
it's
people.
Not finished just yet, and look at that focus on Kantos. Kantos has nowhere to run. He had his flash available, no way he could use it to get anywhere safe anyways. And Denzel in the mid lane, though, doing the split pushing. So he's still going to be able to get something out of nothing, but that was a Baron that the Finnish team did not expect.
So some interesting things happen right there. In the bottom side, Wazer pushes up really hard without knowing where anyone in the enemy team is, without having any wards on the entire bottom side of the map. Really not the vision control that you wanted. So I think that's a fine choice to go for NYRIKKI, but I think you send max 3 people to deal with him. I think if you lock him up with the CC, 3 people should be enough to deal with Wazer. Now Denzel is looking for the flank though.
Yeah, Denzel wants to fight it out around this Infernal Dragon, not want to give that one up for free, waiting for someone to come and face check this bush. The Dragon is going to go into the hands of the Finnish team. If it can't be stolen, no, it's not going to be stolen. Raxi tries for it, not going to be able to get it. Acitor instead gets the kill. And Sten Busse is going to find Denzel here. Acitor taking a lot of damage, not quite sure if he will survive this though. He actually is going to survive it. Denzel, on the other hand, where is he going to run to? He tries to go in 1 versus 2. A little bit of a desperation move there, as I don't really see in how many ways that would have worked unless he was like completely ahead, which he is not. He was at 0-1-0 when that happened. Now he's at 0-2-0. And I'm starting to feel like these are some strange moves that we see from TFT at the moment.
It's starting to feel like you should probably ban Cillian Malzahar against Denzel to get him onto another champions that is not as comfortable on. I don't think going for the plays like this aggressively, taking this big of a risks, is really necessary at this point. Sure, you're 10-3 in kills, you're 4 dragons to 0, but you're still pretty much keeping up in gold. You're only 1k gold behind. So
exactly.
I don't think
you have the Baron buff. You don't need to go for these desperation moves like that was.
I don't think TFT has to be desperate at all at this point. They do have a team comp with the allow a split push that NYRIKKI are gonna be having a really tough time actually responding to when it comes to the later stages. So I don't think you need to risk this, to pressure this really hard at all, but they are just taking risks and getting punished so hard.
Jameru pressing the outplay button, finding the kill on Nightmares. Jameru on this one, working in a similar fashion that the SWE has been doing in previous games, just being the one where you get the stun off, and then instantly you know that you are going to get a kill from that, and on top of it, you can go for the objective. So even losing the Baron, NYYRIKKI White is not going to let themselves get stopped.
Yeah, I think one Mercury thread on the entirety of TFT is probably too little here up against all of this CC. Get some good damage with E there from the Alawi, but the big price there was the inhibitor tower going down for NYYRIKKI, so they are starting to get ahead, and these Ocean Dragons are going to be really good in these situations because, yes, these are some teams that just wants to fight. We don't really have that many poke champions, but when you go in for the siege, get the tower down and then back off, Double Ocean really does a lot for you. You don't have to reset as early.
Absolutely. Jamero arriving just in time to make sure this goal doesn't go to waste for recalling, finding 3 control wards while he does it. It's good to be able to clear that one up. Wazer you talked about, now starting his split push down bot lane. Baron, of course, not available right now. 2 minutes before that respawns again. Last time Wazer was down bot lane, the rest of his team was able to pick up Baron, while NYYRIKKI White were down picking him off the map. This time around, though, this is a little sneaky play right here.
Nordic bush.
Yeah, this is the sneaky bush. Death sentence landing and a quick pickup with the shutdown goal going into the hands of Kantos.
That is really smart. They do have a lot of burst damage and even some good ways to kill these high HP tanks in the Rage Blade Kaisa, who deals so much damage to them with that passive. So even though there's a Warmox and the Cinder Hulk, that HP just gets shredded through by Kantos.
Absolutely. Good vision control right now from the FT, as they had so many control wards around this side of the map. Knew exactly where NYYRIKKI White was at all times.
Yeah, for sure. Interested to see the Stormracer here for the Sivir. Not the most standard choice. Often you do see that Essence Reaver instead. So really contributing to the fact that the AD carriers are still kind of exploring the new builds on this patch and seeing which are the strongest. This Stormracer, of course, has extra synergy with other energized items such as the Static Shiv that has already been picked up. So really an interesting item choice right now. Not sure if it's the stronger choice compared to the Essence Reaver. I just think it gives you a bit of a different sort of play style.
Absolutely. It's a little bit shorter range with it instead of the rapid fire cannon, but absolutely you get that little burst of damage when you go with the extra energize with the Storm Racer together with the Static Shiv. There's an open inhibitor in mid lane. NYYRIKKI White are pushing in for this. Jamero on his Syndra has been very impressive so far. 5 kills into this game, holding onto a heap of gold. Getting this inhibitor for free. No engage potential. Up top lane, the side wave is pushing towards NYYRIKKI, so they are backing off right now.
Baron just spawned. Can go for that objective, and I don't think you want to start it. I think this is a comp that really wants to set up around the Baron, deny the vision, and then be ready to turn around, because as I said, only 1 Merc Thirds and 1 QSS on the team of TFT, so there is so much catch potential from the Sejuani, from the Cinder, from the Braum. All of them have long-range CC, and then there's follow-up in terms of the Poppy as well, so you have to be so careful if you're TFT right now. I mean, they need to make some sort of big outplay to make this happen. I think it would be up to Raxi and Denzel, but I can't really see them being able to turn this game around.
Now, it's going to be difficult for them to get into the correct position. They need to get Jamero, they need to get AZTOR. Speaking of getting people, here's Raxi caught out of position again on this Kha'Zix. Not being allowed to play this Sejuani for him. For Denzel not to be allowed to play neither of his comfort picks have been proving to become a big problem for this game. They are both quite behind. This is the Baron take now, and there's no real response on the map for TFT. They're going for the consolation prize. They got the Cloud Dragon. This is a free Baron that's going to go into the hands of the Finnish team.
Not even going to be able to do anything right there. Wow, just giving over the Baron to the enemy team. And looking at TFT, of course, they have to keep fighting here. And I think the only fighting chance that they really got is Wazer on this Ilaoi. almost 100 CS up, 90 CS up compared to Stenbosse. Still has a bit of a gold lead, even though on a team basis, NYRIKKI White has a big gold lead. So Waysor, he is really the only hope for the team, but he's not been able to find the split pushes at all so
No, he's
far.
not been allowed to split push.
Yeah, he's either been grouped up with a team, or as soon as he's been able to go to split push, he's been getting caught. So you really have to question this draft from TFT if you're not confident going for a split pushing like sort of team comp, especially given what happened in the last game where they lost the game due to a poor decision with the split pushing. You gotta question if this was the right choice when they've shown that they could play this sort of team fight comps with a Sivir so well.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like they've been more comfortable in just going for these big team fights instead. And with Vaysor, although I want to give it to them at least that Vaysor was down bot lane, right? And they got the Baron on top of that. That was something that they were able to do this game with this split push, but that was it. That's everything that they have gotten. Now pushing in, you can see Denzel trying to find the flank, only getting some damage off on the Braum. Not really doing that much with that through the Unbreakable as well. Inhibitor has fallen. Wazer up top lane trying to split push, but since he is this far behind right now, he can't really do that much. It's almost feeling like a little bit too little too late right now, going with this split push. Still going to use his ultimate. Keeper's Verdict is going to knock him away, and that was that fight. Wazer is now running away, not getting too much out of that split push, only losing the bot lane inhibitor.
Leap of Faith, though, has a very short cooldown at this point, 38.5 seconds right now with a 45% CDR that Wazer is rocking. So not too big of an investment, but still Stenbosse is showing that he can definitely still go toe-to-toe thanks to that Bramble Vest giving the healing reduction onto Wazer. And now it's a 5-man group going down towards the top side. Is there a TP ward for Wazer to flank with? Yes, there is. So if they want to go for some sort of a big flank as the last stand here, he can try to TP in behind on this Alawi, but I have a hard time seeing this going on.
Yeah, they need to do this still. If they lose this inhibitor, it's just going to be losing slowly. But look at that CC Jamaru instantly turning Wazer into minced meat. He has to run away before even that Guardian Angel pops. The super minions are pushing in down the bot lane. The mid lane is also pushing. Death Sentence is going to land. No follow-up still on this. Just trying to harass, trying to slow down. That's the third inhibitor. Another Death Sentence going to land. The focus is on the Sejuani. Everything is landing. And a huge AoE damage is erupting as Wazer is going in for this deeply. That's finally the pop for the GA. Sejuani is still alive, and Wazer can't really do anything with Denzel. Finding the kill finally on Kenapil. But what more can they do? There comes he! Kantos has arrived, jumping in, kiting backwards, and finding some success.
Look at the Nexus, look at the Nexus,
look at the Nexus. Is there. Nexus still about to go down. It's the support MVP focusing the Nexus. Acitor has arrived yet again. That is the Nexus, that is the game. Some attempts were made, but in the end, it's NYRIKKI White who goes away with this today, 2-1.
You could see the final stand, kind of what TFT were hoping for with this team comp. Wazer flashed in, got the Leap of Faith on 5 people and got like everyone to half HP. And if you say to a LeBlanc main, everyone's on half HP, he's going to be really happy. So the thought process was really for for Ilau to get everybody low, and then LeBlanc and Kha'Zix to do the cleanup, but they were simply too far behind, and the front line of Braum, Sejuani, Poppy, simply too tanky for them to do anything.
Absolutely, and also they had fallen behind quite a bit. They're fighting versus all of this super minions, fighting versus the Baron buff. I mean, there's so many things they need to handle throughout all of this. Still, I really want to give it to NYRIKKI White. Like, I think they played a very successful series. I think that game 2 definitely propelled them in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure, they were able to bounce back here really hard. Gotta say, I was impressed for Yamaru here in this series. He really showed
Absolutely.
up. I mean, going up against Denzel and really showing who was the better mid laner in the skill matchup in this game. He was getting really big on this Syndra, so good to see him on some sort of a comeback starting to get here after not doing too much in the earlier series, and showing that he can definitely be one of the top mid laners in this tournament.
Absolutely, and we're looking forward to see more of these teams in future games. But for now, we're going to a quick break. Then we'll be back with more games, more excitement. So do not go anywhere.